welcome back. Hope you enjoyed our classic this morning. That was from Jermaine Hawkins. Well, you came in right after the launching of this station, and was for the B103 and Heaven 600. And the first times I seen this movie, I said, it's Dorothy Dandridge, reincarnated. You look just like her.
You are not the first person to
You are at when I first looked at Tyra, I was like, Dorothy Dandridge.
That's such a compliment.
Yeah, reincarnated. You look just like her. Tyra Simpkins. You are at when I first looked at she didn't really like sidebar with the voice thing first. Yeah. But she went on to do some other things. But she was actually a part of what I shared earlier. Here is on the day, the first day of new revelation that we now have access to HD 102.7, the same frequency that was revealed on HD 101. She's our first guest.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, she has come here not to talk about a fun topic or about the 102.7 HD2, but actually talk about something that's a very serious issue, not only she's our first guest, but she has come here communities at large across the gender as well as ethnic origin areas from MS. This month is MS month, right? And you are joining well, actually, you try to come this organization called MS.Y.A.N.A MS.Y.A.N.A. MS for multiple sclerosis and Y.A.N. for you are not alone. And joining her is Marisa Bess, and also Fidel.
Yeah, he has a name that sounds like he comes from money.
But no, you guys are a part of a major effort to heighten awareness of officers and people to speak
Illness is something that you come back from. Exactly.
and like for some people, because there probably is a prevailing level of ignorance and not in a negative sense, just not knowing exactly what MS is. If you had to give a working definition for MS, what would that be?
That would be inability to move, function as you would normally do. I had an opportunity to speak, originally I had an opportunity to speak after 10 years and just letting them know that when we give an example of the pain that surges through your body. If you were to hit your funny bone, that numbness and tingling that you feel, exactly. Well, imagine that pain in your leg all day long, or in your arm. And so when it's a typical pain, that's when you go and seek out professional help, just to help to get the diagnosis.
How long do we
No symptoms, correct. And it, as I look back, I was able to trace that my very first symptom happened around 10 years of age. Did not know. But it was my left arm. Again, my left arm just, my hand another episode. His boyfriend no good. Da, 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 da. However,
That'll do it.
right,
That probably has
exactly.
something to do with it. Yeah.
Then in my 30s, I said, okay, well, I finally got the right man. But
That man.
it was actually a visit to my doctor, and I told him about my symptom, about my left arm, and he said, you are the right age, and the symptom that you're explaining sounds like it might be MS. And I like any of
That was the first.
That was the very first thing that came to his mind.
So is there testing for that?
There is testing, and that's exactly what he did. He referred me to a neurologist to get an MRI. Of course, like many of us, I put it off. I didn't want to go. I had too much work to do. I had to take care of the kids.
And sometimes way in the back of your mind, a little bit of fear.
Absolutely. And when I finally went and got the results, the way that the neurologist explained my results to me was absolutely horrific. I mean, he just held up a piece of paper and said, yes, here, you got spots here, you got spots here, all in my brain.
Goodness.
Spots, yeah, you have MS. I was
Just
devastated.
So matter of factish.
Absolutely.
And very insensitive.
Absolutely. And come home, we have got to figure out what is this?
Yeah, yeah.
Sunday. Okay, well, we'll get rid of it, and there launched the beginning of my campaign to find out what it is, do my education, and then spread that awareness to other people.
One of the things that immediately comes to mind, and you sharing your story, you have periodically sent me emails once you launched your personal crusade against it, is that sometimes one of the best forms of therapy when you find yourself being afflicted by anything is to turn it around and make it work for you and motivate you to do something.
Yes. As with any illness, absorb and you will not get ask me when I was first down.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a champion's mentality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you know what, Tyra? You are not alone in this. And that's exactly how MS.Y.A.N.A was born.
So tell us, okay, so it started with you, or who did it start
It
with?
started with me.
So this organization you started.
This is my baby.
Way to go!
Yeah.
Way to
This is
go!
my baby.
Absolutely.
Now, how did Marisa and Cordell get caught up?
Well, Marissa and I happened to meet at a MS functions. We're in partnership with the National MS Society.
Okay.
And she was thinking to herself, and we just started talking, and I've never even heard of this thing. And
Really? Different. You couldn't walk. You sit up on the side of the bed. Yeah.
And he's wrestling in the crib. He's about 3 months old, and he wasn't a crybaby, and I could just hear him brooding. And I said, okay, he's hungry. I gotta get my baby up, but I still felt sick to my stomach, and I'm like, God, I can't walk, but you gotta get me in there to get my baby. So I crawled back to his crib, and I said, stood up a little bit, but my leg, and I'm like, what is going on with my body? Finally, I was able to just scoop him a little bit. Just wasn't sure what was going on with my body. I just did not feel right.
Now, before you went to bed, symptomatically nothing was happening.
Nothing was wrong. In fact, the night before, I had gone out to dinner with his godmother. My husband at the time was out of town on business. And so, like I said, I had a wonderful night, went out to dinner, didn't eat anything unusual, but was home with the baby, nothing unusual. But felt sick to the stomach again. Took my son, had him cradled, scooted back to the bathroom, still sick. Propped him up against the wall. He sat there, good baby, just looking at me. Scooted back, called I can't walk, something's wrong. I can't walk. My body is feeling crazy. Had to go to the door. Fast forward the story, they felt as if I was a new mother.
That's initial.
That's initial. Was again misdiagnosed for 2 years before they finally found out that I had MS. And so that's very common with people.
That was my next question. Is that common? Misdiagnosis.
So Tyra got a quick diagnosis. I got a misdiagnosis because I kept tripping and falling and all these different things that were happening. They never told me that I had MS.
So, you ladies, what I'm hearing, and Kodak, we're gonna come to you in a second.
I got a
It can just strike suddenly,
yeah.
unexpectedly. You know, some of these experiences, but didn't. But you regained usage. Everything is fine. Oh, I just had a bad cramp.
Right. MS will start to attack the nerves within the brain.
Yeah.
And if you know that there are nerves run throughout your body.
Right.
However, in the brain, that's the beginning. So anytime that signal is interrupted, your thought pattern is going to be interrupted. Your sight. We have people who will become temporarily blind with MS because of the way the optic nerve, which is in the brain, the way that is affected. Gait, again, speech happens, and just like in Marissa's
They gave me flu to just see until
our ethnicity, that these are the things that really aren't a part of our ethnicity, if you will, that we will kind of overlook them. We will start looking toward other things, but
at
not.
one time they thought I had lupus, another time
Exactly,
they
I
thought
was
I
going to
had a
ask about
stroke.
that too.
It was
One of the things that came to mind, because in the beginning when you were talking about the burning and the pinching and all of that, I thought about someone who had gout, because gout, similar.
Gout is similar. Lupus is similar. But yeah, one time they did a lot of tests for lupus. At one time when my speech was slurred, they thought that I had a stroke. So yeah, it's very easy for it to be misdiagnosed.
So there are several stages of MS, and the stage that we all are in is called relapsing remitting, and it's just like it sounds.
Back and forth.
You have a relapse,
You
which
have
would be
episodes.
right. Your episode. So when Marissa was in the hospital and going through the paralysis, the temporary paralysis with my arm, All of that is when you have a relapse. So you get the medication, and then you're back into the remission stage. However, what is very, I guess another point that I want to make clear, not everyone will bounce back.
Sometimes
you into
in a different stage.
right.
So that shows
That's
you
the third
how
stage.
it's progressed,
Exactly.
and how that's progressed,
Right.
you know,
So-
at that point.
So what's the third stage?
Well, then you go into primary progressive, where you may be paralyzed, you may be confined to a wheelchair, you may not be able to use your left arm or your right arm because, again, you have the track of the nerves, and wherever that nerve is damaged, it's going to leave literally a path of destruction because it's eating away the nerve.
Oh my
And
God.
so, what I want to convey is, you can't sit on it. It's a ticking time bomb.
And you can't worry about people calling you out.
Come back and talk about
You know, we meet God in all sorts of places.
to experience the presence of God.